Hi friends, it's Caitlin and welcome back to the Floating Rock Podcast. I hope you're having the most incredible day ever. It's always an incredible day when I'm here with you. I guess to start off, it's an episode about gratitude, and what am I the most grateful for? Oh, just the pod. Oh, just my faithful floating rock stars. And if you are a longtime listener, girl, you know what I mean. If you listen sort of consistently, just know I know and love you. And if you're new here, I feel like we might have like a few new friends. And if you are a new friend, nice to meet you. Today, I'm coming to you with a little episode about gratitude because I'm like, it's November. It's like literally the month of fucking gratitude. And I was like, okay, this just like makes sense, you know? I want to do like another fall kind of episode soon though. Like I'm kind of into that, right? Also just kind of feeling like I'm in a really grateful kind of era of life right now, and maybe it's just that, like, hate to say it, maybe things are just going good, and of course you're gonna be grateful for things going good, but I feel like sometimes it's like things can still be going a similar amount of good, but if you're not actively grateful for it, they're just not gonna feel as good. And I was just like, wait, I just feel like I'm in a good energy to be like talking about this with you guys. My big thing that like made me think about this to share, I guess, with you guys was, so I'm about to go on a little trip. Yay, fun. But fun fact about me is I don't like flying. I don't like it. It's not for me. And don't know when that started necessarily, but it's not for me. And, you know, I was talking to Bestie Girl Malia about it, and she brought up this great point, and I was like, of course, why haven't I thought of that yet? But she was like, oh, like instead of, you know, whenever you think about it, like thinking about all these negative things, like instead thinking about it like with gratitude in mind, and thinking about how damn lucky I am to be able to get on a fucking plane and go somewhere. And not only just that in like the, I guess, financial sense, but also the sense of like there are countries and places in the world maybe where that's just not as accessible. And then even deeper, the fact that people even came up with this shit, like grateful for even the idea of a plane, the idea that I don't have to get on a fucking boat. And I mean, Hawaii's far from everywhere, right? So the fact that I don't have to like sail on the motherfucking Mayflower to get to my friends, you know, like what a beautiful, beautiful thing. And that you can see people so fast and go see the world so fast and in a very safe way. Like, you know, like what's up with that? I just loved the idea of flipping the script on, because I feel like we've all probably heard a lot about gratitude in general. Like I feel like with this whole self-care, self-improvement boom in my head that's been happening, I feel like it's a lot of gratitude about things in my life and this and that. But like, I do like the idea of, yeah, reframing things that maybe you are afraid of, reframing things just in general, reframing things with gratitude in mind. I'm like, what a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I think that does make one of the biggest differences to like perhaps your quality of life. And obviously it's, you know, you probably have those realizations along the way. Like it's not just like, okay, now I'm going to be grateful for every bad thing that's ever happened to me. Not exactly. But it's like bit by bit, if you kind of start weaving this into the way that you think about everyday things, I'm like, holy fuck, like can you imagine what a brighter place your mind will be if instead of thinking about what are people afraid of, maybe you're really scared of sharks, I don't fucking know, and then you go to the beach or something, but instead of thinking about that fear, like thinking like, no, I'm so grateful that I can go to a beach, and the fact that you even can be near water, and you know what, that you even have the opportunity to be bit, girl. Yeah, but I love the idea of reframing things, especially things that you have anxiety about, things that you're fearful of, or just, yeah, any sort of little negative things in your life, and reframing them like with gratitude in mind. Especially too, I think there's, as per usual, because it's never not this way, unfortunately, there are big crazy things happening in the world. I saw this other video and it was this girl talking about she something on the lines of like, you're checking his snap score, but people are like literally losing their like food stamps tomorrow. Put your shit into perspective, and like, and that's a way to do it, to really think about like some of even these problems, these things that feel so big and like the end of the world or some bullshit, like there are bigger things happening. And it truly, like if it is something as small as like a man's snap score, that it makes it so small, you know, and like to think that you're so grateful that that's the biggest thing on your mind right now, like it's just, I'm like, I like this way of thinking. So then I was thinking, just in general, gratitude, I feel like the more that you do it, just the happier you'll be. No shit, as per usual, no shit. But even so, I feel like, not that I've done a study, but in my head, if I did a study, I feel like what would happen is the people that practice gratitude the most, the people that identify themselves maybe even as people that are very full of gratitude, they live the most happy lives. And I don't know, even I feel like the people who I've met just throughout my life, I feel like the people who, even if I don't hear per se, like, oh, I'm so grateful for this, I'm so grateful for that, there are people who I think carry an aura of gratitude with them, and you just kind of, you look at them and you think, yeah, I bet they think about that shit, And I just feel like those are the happier people. And I think it's almost more clear on the other side of it. The people that I feel like I have met that seem to be living some of the more unhappy lives that I've ran into, there are obviously lots of factors, but I feel like gratitude is just such like a big mindset shift. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like the same things could be in their life, could be happening in their life, whatever. But I'm like, that's just like a completely different mindset. And I'm like, wow, that actually would make such a big difference. But like everything, and like I said, this self-help boom, that's a decision you have to make for yourself. And it takes effort, which sucks. So in my head too, there is what I'm going to call active gratitude and passive gratitude. So in my head, I feel like active gratitude is when you're being very actively like journaling and you're like, I'm grateful for snow. Ooh, okay, cool. You're grateful for snow. Or yeah, you're writing this, that, the other thing. And then like when you almost like the set aside time that you have to like go and be grateful. And then I feel like there's like passive gratitude where it's like, obviously sometimes it just hits you, like pre-nostalgia, I think, is just another word for gratitude, or I guess gratitude is another word for pre-nostalgia, if you will. Like, when you're feeling nostalgic, but the moment hasn't even happened, or it's not even over yet. I feel like I was having some pre-nostalgia this fine Halloween weekend. I was like, but like, we're just so young and having fun. And I'm like, girl, you haven't even gotten out of the pre-game. Hello? I feel like, yeah, there are those kind of two. And then, yeah, like I said, the passive one is more, in my head, it's like not attached to writing or anything physical. It's in my head, I would put passive even with like when you're standing looking at a sunset or something, choosing to make the decision of like, I'm so grateful for this sunset. Like, I feel like it's maybe just more passive because it's like it's happening right there in the moment, For example, today I was like, I need to just like move my body. Hello. So I went on a little hikey hike, yay, just like a short one. But at one point, it like the trees kind of like cleared, and there was like I could just like see out a little bit, and I was like, and I like had just a genuine moment of like, oh, I'm so grateful for this. I'm so grateful that. And what's fun about gratitude too is like it makes you spiral in a good way. Like it's never just I'm so grateful to be on this hike right now. Then it becomes I'm so grateful that I live somewhere that is this beautiful. Then it becomes I'm grateful I live somewhere that's so close to this specific hike. I'm so grateful that I have an able body and can even go on a hike. And then it just keeps going, and there's just so much to be grateful about. And all I did was just like look out through a tree. Hello, And yeah, I just love that. And to me, I'm going to call that passive because it was just like right there in the moment. I didn't even think like, man, like gotta think about how grateful I am. Yeah, I was like, oh, I love that. So then I'm thinking, okay, I used the internet a little bit, but one little science fact about gratitude is that when you are practicing it, when you are holding hands at fucking Thanksgiving, when you're journaling, when you're going on that hike and having that moment, gratitude, like it releases, a little hit of dopamine, like your vape, like your TikTok, all that bullshit, right? So, and obviously it's a little bit of a better one than those two. And so back to that whole idea of like, oh, if you practice gratitude more, like the more happy your life will be. Obviously that's just like no shit. But I feel like the way you can kind of break that down is like you're having these dopamine hits when you are reflecting at the end of the night, when you're doing this and that. If you think about these like little dopamine hits, the more that you practice gratitude, the more that it becomes subconscious, right? And you just start to have these random like bursts of it, these random hits of it, right? That just kind of come out of nowhere, like unprompted, right? Just in the moment. In theory, you're just getting more and more dopamine hits purely from just living. And therefore, I'm like, well, then yeah, of course you're going to be living a happier life. And it's like, well, the maths. The more that you formula here, maybe, because you guys know I love a formula as well as a fucking metaphor. The more that you actively practice gratitude, the more that you go in your journal, the more that you have those conversations, say the things out loud, take a moment to just sit, breathe, think, be grateful, the more that it will become a subconscious thought. And the more that gratitude starts to become a subconscious thought, the more that it will hit you subconsciously, the more that you will just have dopamine like running through your veins on any given day just because you happen to be living and your brain is wired to be fucking grateful about it. And I'm like, yeah. And for example, so bestie girl Malia and I are getting ready for our fun little night out, and literally so random, we're walking up the stairs. I think we had like just gone and like taken a few pictures, and I'm walking upstairs. I just like had a moment. And I like told her, and I was like, wait, I'm just like so grateful that I get to do Halloween with you. You know, like I have like you as my best friend, and you're the person that like I get to go and do this with, and that we like want to go do the same thing, and we're just super cute and fun. And I'm like, wait, yay. And I just love the idea of that like you can just be doing something that's so normal for you maybe, and just like, you know, especially friendships and relationships, I feel like we really do take them for granted sometimes. One of my favorite things to think about too is best friendship in general. You guys are just actively choosing each other over and over again, and it's just a mutual thing. And I'm like, that is just the coolest thing ever, and just the cutest thing ever, and like what's not to be grateful about? Like if you have a best friend, you're like one of the luckiest people in the world that you have someone, or I guess a significant other as well, someone that you guys both mutually continue to just choose each other. And I'm like, that rocks. That fucking rocks. But yeah, and I feel like I've been like practicing gratitude a little bit more in my life, and now I just feel like blessed with these random bursts of it that just now happen subconsciously, and I just get that free dopamine hit, and I'm like, yes. I also think too, when it comes to gratitude, like sometimes I think it can be like hard to be like, oh, so what do I do? Just like sit there and think I'm so grateful for this. It feels fake sometimes, right? And like, what does that even mean, you know? But I did a project on this once in PE. Fun fact, did you know that if you smile, if you force a smile, it will actually eventually like release, I think it's still dopamine, maybe it's serotonin, and maybe it's been serotonin this whole time and I'm fucking it up. Apologies, ladies. But, oh, that's so embarrassing. Yeah, don't judge me. I did not do STEMmy things at all. Okay, sorry. In my head, I am no expert, duh. We all know that. But in my head too, just by faking it too, just by faking I'm so grateful for this, you will get the feeling, you know, by smiling for 5 seconds, it will actually release that good chemical because your body's like, oh, I smile and I'm happy. And so by kind of telling yourself, oh, I'm grateful for this, your brain knows, oh, when I'm grateful, I'm happy. So therefore you get the hit. And I'm like, yes. It's like, and I love that. And I just think too, like, it almost feels so fake and weird, but it's like, no, the more that you do that, yeah, the more subconscious it will become, and you'll actually feel it, you know? And sometimes too, you just need that to prompt yourself. You just need to prompt yourself with that super cheesy, like, I'm so grateful for my day. And the more that you say that, the more that you believe it. I also think that gratitude is like a fun way to manifest as well. Like sometimes when I'll manifest and I'll like write something kind of long, one of my favorite ways just is like to pretend something's already mine, right? And so let's say you're manifesting a job. I'm so grateful that I am the head of this company. Oh, okay, you want to be the head of the company. I love that for you. But writing about it like you're grateful that you already have it. I'm like, very cute. Very cute. I also just think like there's so many, you know, like laws of the universe and like energy flows and what gives takes and the law of attraction, the law of assumption. Something just damn tells me that if the Wi-Fi or a vibe that you're giving off to the world is gratitude, it's just, it feels like a different frequency, it feels like a different vibration, and I can only think that that is magnetic to more things that you will be grateful for. You know, like if you think about like all that like crazy little physics stuff, like I wouldn't be surprised if like you kind of emit something when you are in a moment of gratitude, and it just makes the universe want to like reward that more, because you do good when you feel good, right? And it's that typical Floating Rock podcast. When you feel good, you do good. And I love that, right? But anyway, I've been loving these shorter episodes, honestly. So in the idea of that, now I have 5 gratitude prompts for you. And I want you to think about it. Either pause me after I say it, or just like take them with you through your day, have conversations about it, whatever you want. Just think about it. Or you can ignore what I say right after and think about it over my talking as well if you want. So my first little gratitude prompt is, who is the most grateful person you know? And what can you like learn from them? What do you admire about them? You know, I think sometimes gratitude is like such an intrinsic thing, but I'm like, let's bring it out. Like, who is the most grateful person you know? And maybe that's not exactly true. Obviously, we're not all having conversations about how grateful we are, but like someone that you just think admits it. Like I said earlier, like there's just those people where it's like, yeah, I bet that you write about that in your journal. I bet that you just think that you just seem like a grateful person, or you even hear it in like little micro things that they say, like, oh my god, thank you, like this is the coolest thing, you know what I mean? So I feel like first person to come to mind, literally, I'm so obsessed with her, bestie girl Malia. I think she's one of the most grateful people that I personally know. And what I admire about that, what I love about that, is I feel like she's able to appreciate the positive in everybody and in like little things. And it's a very good energy to be around, and it's a very inspiring thing to be around. And it's like, it's great. And so think about that person for you. And obviously there's probably other people who are just as grateful that you don't know, but yeah, just first person that comes to mind to you. And yeah, who are they? What about them do you think gives off that vibe? What do you admire about it? Like, I also just think like thinking good thoughts about other people is a way to practice gratitude as well. Maybe. Next, what is something about yourself that you're grateful for? I think sometimes it feels like you're on a team with yourself. Like, getting through life is hard. You gotta persevere, and like everything happens and it gets thrown at you, and everyone has their different ways about going about it. Everyone's situation is completely different, and it does take conscious work to become who you are. And it's a good thing to practice that gratitude for yourself and be on your team and be like, hey girl, good job. Like, there have been times where I'm journaling or talking to myself and I'm just like, literally go off. Like, thank you so much for being you. I'm so grateful that I have this talent, or I have this mindset, or whatever. Like, having that kind of gratitude for yourself is great, just to remind yourself that, like, almost separating your mind from your body and thinking like your body, you're almost like you're your body's mentor, or like guide, or leader, and like or almost like that is your younger version of yourself. Hopefully you're catching my vibe right now, but like just thinking about like what you're grateful for about yourself. So my example for that is, did I mention this on the pod recently? Embarrassing if I did, sorry. But I feel like something that I am really grateful for about myself is I have pretty thick skin, and I don't exactly quite know why it is that way. I have a little bit of a hypothesis. Doesn't matter right here, right now though. But I'm very grateful for that. And a fun example of when that just came into fucking play, ladies, I got my first, sort of first, like mean little comment, and I was like, what are you doing here? I was like, ew, like, okay, wait, quick thing about that. I think it's so funny when people like, because it was a full paragraph. I left it up there just because I was like, it's kind of funny. When people like put so much effort into just like being negative, I'm like, I love that for you, because like that's so much effort. But when it came down to it, I was just like, this is so funny. And like, basically like anything that you'd hear in therapy about it, like, oh, they're projecting, or oh, like literally like, you have nothing better to do, oh, you're an incel, like all that kind of bullshit. But it just made me happy that like someone could come in here to my safe space, hello, and shit on it, and like think that they know what's up to my art, if you will, my child. And I just kind of thought it was funny, and I was like, wait, I have so many fun comebacks for you, but I'm not going to do all that. But yeah, so that is something that I'm grateful for about myself personally, and maybe you have the same thing that you're grateful for. And I think that doesn't come up as often, like something like thick skin, like you don't think about that as often maybe in your life. So yeah, just quick random thing that's pod related too. But yeah, grateful about that for myself, because that could have really taken a hit to my confidence in this. It could have made me second guess it. Could have made me, think all these bad things about myself, when realistically it's just someone who has too much time on their hands and who's watching a girl podcast. Sorry. The next one. What is something that you need to reframe into gratitude? Oh, word that fucking better, bitch. Basically my whole traveling, flying example. What is something in your life that you are pretty solid on? Like, I don't like that. Nope. Bad, bad, bad. And how can you reframe that into something that's like kind of in a gratitude mindset? It doesn't have to be like, wow, I'm so happy that I like have to do this thing that I fucking hate, but like just turning it a little bit more in that positive direction. Like, let me think. Literally, it could be traffic. I don't fucking know. If you like sit in it a lot, right, for work or something, like just thinking like, I'm so grateful that I have a job that allows me to even pay for the gas to get there. I'm so grateful I have a car to sit in traffic, like all that kind of stuff. Oh, this one's like more just in the present. What was the best part of your day today? Like, what are you grateful for that happened today? For me, I like to think about them, especially when they're like really small moments. Back on that whole friendship note, we were just like sitting on the floor this morning, like drinking water, hanging out, stretching, debriefing the night. And I was like, just like so grateful for girlhood, just so grateful for just like that floor moment, and just that I can be so comfortable with somebody, just like little stuff like that. And that hike too. Hike was really a highlight of my day. It was tons and tons of cute funness. And lastly, I thought this one was fun and interesting. What is a smell that brings you back to a feeling or memory that you're grateful for? You're grateful that that smell can even like make that reaction for you. So mine, I have two. Number one, I have this perfume that I had in like in my senior year of high school. It's like from Anthropologie. I think I talked about it in an episode already, but this random perfume, I kept the bottle around because I was like, it just smelled really good. And the other day I found it again. I was like, so I was like, I smelled it. I was like, I am literally a teenager again. I was like, holy shit. And it just made me feel so like youthful and spry. Yeah, I totally talked about this before, but whatever. So I went and rebought it and I was like, wait, I'm so grateful that there's like the smell of like a perfume that brings me back to like my 18-year-old self. I'm like, that rocks. And another one is just like the smell of like, I don't know what it is. It's my sink running on a rainy day. And it just kind of like makes me feel nostalgic. I don't know why. Maybe it's just like the Hawaii kind of rain smell of it all. But I don't know why. It's always when the sink is on too, for some fucking reason. But yeah, I thought like that's a fun, like really, really micro thing to think about. It's not called synesthesia. I know that because that's like the whole like color to word thing, I believe. Hopefully it's that too. But I love like even just to be grateful that like a smell can bring you back to a memory, or it can bring you back to just like a feeling. Like we're burning this candle at my house right now and it's kind of like fall vibes, and for some reason it just like we must have had it last year or like maybe the last couple years, or at least something similar, and like it was burning today and it just kind of like made me feel like, oh my god, like I'm back from college. During winter fall, like I would come back from school, so I'm like, wait, and just like makes me nostalgic and like brings me back to like winter break kind of things, and like I love it. So anyway guys, those are my thoughts on a few of my thoughts, at least on gratitude, and I hope that this is kind of festive and fun and gets you into the mood for like Thanksgiving Eve vibes, I guess. And just like, I don't know, I feel like the end of the year is a great time to like really hone in on being grateful. And I think, because I love to point out my biggest lesson of the episode, I think my biggest one is going to be the more that you practice gratitude, the more that you do it actively, the more it will become a passive action, and the more that it becomes a passive thing, you'll just start getting these dopamine hits without even trying, and you will just be living a more grateful life, a life full of gratitude. And who doesn't want that? Because there is so much to be grateful for in your life, even if for some reason you don't think that. The fact that you have a computer or a phone to even listen to me, you should be grateful for that. Not to be listening to me, but like that you have the device, you know what I mean? Unless it is for me though. But yeah, guys, I hope that this reminds you to bring more gratitude into your day, and maybe journal about it tomorrow, or take a moment right now, or start weaving it into your conversations more. Oh, and my last note actually is like saying it more to people when you are actively feeling grateful for somebody, or like really want to thank them for something, or just want to like compliment them. Like really just do that. Like I love the idea of like giving someone like a genuine like, oh my god, thank you so much for doing that, by the way. Like in a genuine like, oh, I'm so grateful for you that you do this and that, you know what I mean? So yeah, those are my thoughts, guys. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, your night, your life that is full and full of gratitude and love and light and happiness, because you deserve that. And I hope that you share that with others as well. And yeah, follow the pod at flowing.rock.podcast, subscribe on YouTube, rate the pod on Spotify. Maybe you can do that on Apple too. On Apple too. I don't know. But yeah, kisses and hugs, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.